Is there anybody in here that's new to the crude oil report? Anyone in here that doesn't quite know how we do it or what we do? Hey, Nathan, great. Yeah, so the 5-tick momentum bar is a good one to use with with Spotlight. And so basically the report comes out right at the 10:30 time, and then we wait 2 minutes and look to take trades. So I typically use the Counterpunch Trader 377 tick chart, mainly because it's what I'm used to. It works well, and it tends to finish faster. Of course, every time I say that, Spotlight finishes faster, so go figure. But I do believe Spotlight wins even more than Counterpunch. They're both good, so it's just a matter of doing what you're comfortable with. But I'm guessing you're in here because of Spotlight, correct? So that's the one you would trade, and you should definitely practice it because it is tricky, and you have to get your maneuvers down. You want to have your bracket orders. You want to know how to maneuver on your matrix or your dome, whatever you're trading. So you want to make sure that you're set up properly, that you have your template in place, that you know how to jump from one to the other in case you have to grab control of the trade with a single market order position or whatever. It takes some practice, but ultimately that's what we do. So you'll see when I start trading with Counterpunch, you'd want to use similar techniques with Spotlight. With TradeStation, you could use the matrix to use stop limit orders and cut down on slippage. I think you can do that with Ninja as well. If you're going to use chart trading, though, chart trading, you'll end up with market orders and you will pay slippage. So, I mean, there's the report. The report either came out late or my clock is slow or fast, I mean. But you see that reaction, how violent that was? If you were holding a position, you would have maybe got filled down here on that last trade we were looking at. That's why you don't want to hold a position into this report. So let's mark the boundary of the release. We'll wait our 2 minutes and then see what happens. So that's the boundary of the reaction. Now it's heading higher. Got 1 minute and 5 seconds to go, which is literally an eternity. So much could happen within the next minute or so. Yo, that's pretty cool. You can do that, John. Stop limit on chart trading. Yeah, Ninja can do a bunch of stuff that TradeStation can't. TradeStation's a little bit behind the times, I think, technologically. So that setup is at 55.84. So 55.84 is the first trade, and we do need to place that trade. We're going to target 2 and whatever other target you choose. So
Order
it got short.
filled.
Stop is at 56.02. That 200 moving average could be putting up some resistance. Let's see if we come back down now and test the lows of the reaction here. This is the first trade. Now Spotlight's obviously a little different. Spotlight got short at the pink trade right there at 55.79. So I'm going to mark where money management is here in case it hits it. I can move my stop break even, which is right there at target 1 with Counterpunch. So we're trading right in the middle of the reaction. Pretty lousy price action at the moment. What happened? Okay, 1 tick shy of money management on Counterpunch. On Spotlight, you got a little bit further to go. Let's see if it's going to test the lows of this. There's money management. So if you're in Counterpunch, you want to move your stop and lock in your 1 tick. So if you got short at 84, put your stop at 83. Actually, the stop has even moved lower now. It's moved to 82. And Spotlight needs to go a little further because that target was so small. It has to go past. It has to go 10 ticks. So Counterpunch just stopped out with a 2-tick profit. But Spotlight's still holding because the money management is set to 10 ticks. And target 1 was only 8 ticks. Now, your calculator might say 8 ticks. Maybe you didn't change it to 10, in which case you would have seen the stop move lower. But with crude oil, we want to set that to 10 ticks and give it more room. You have to be careful now. You have a possible stop and reversal, and that would be at 55.88. 55.88. And now on Counterpunch, we've got one at 87. You got a swing high there at 88. So I would say a long at 89, unless it closes below signal line. But it looks like it's going to close below. And Spotlight's still breathing. So the long on Counterpunch is canceled, no long. And Spotlight, if it could just push a little bit further down, will hit its money management zone. So you should still be short in Spotlight. And Spotlight now missing its money management by 1 tick. And we do have a short on Counterpunch right there at 69. So I've got a little delay again. Something about this computer in the trade room. So the price is right in the middle of its reaction to the news event and trying to come down and test the lower end of the range. Let's see if it can do that. You need one more tick. You have to get down to 69 to move your stop to break even or to lock in your one tick on Spotlight. If you had already moved it down, you would have stopped out of what could end up being a full winner. So unable to get through yet. Looks like it may try here in a moment. One more tick lower and counterpunch will be short, and Spotlight you'll move your stop to lock in your one tick. It's got to get to 69. It hasn't done so yet. Nope, I thought it was going to 70-cent level, putting up a fight. So now there's a new setup on counterpunch if you can move it fast enough to 68. Slightly different trade. 68. Still can't get through the 77 or the 70 level. Yeah, so now you have a risk of getting long on Spotlight at 86 and also on counterpunch at 88. Make a little adjustment.
Order filled.
And it did get long, and you did stop and reverse on Spotlight. So make sure you get those targets set on Spotlight. Crappy session. I mean, when you have the price just trading inside of the reaction range, it's pretty crappy. Not a whole lot you can do. Although there's a full winner now on, I couldn't even move the targets, but a full winner on counterpunch and Spotlight. So I just said it was a crappy session, and now we have power of quitting and a positive result. Because you only lost a tiny bit on the short, and then you got into the full long on Spotlight for a full winner and a positive result. And Spotlight should be trailing now at 94. It actually just hit 94 and finished. That's it. I mean, that's the session. Yeah, it moved quick. That's why you have to get your trades in. I knew my targets were beyond I ended up benefiting because I didn't move my targets down, and they got hit anyway. I was worrying on trying to get the stop placed first, and that worked to my benefit. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? But I've got these issues with this computer that I have to click and then wait. Click and then wait. So it's not really conducive for trading live. I don't know what the problem is and why it does that. It's only when I'm projecting in this trade room. Makes it really difficult. I never seem to be able to find the perfect solution. So Nathan, any questions? Anybody have any questions? Let me just review really quick. You wait your 2 minutes. You got the pink trade, and it goes 9 ticks. It doesn't go 10 ticks. So let me just show you. When you're doing crude oil, if you want to do it the way we're doing it, you need to give that trade a little room to breathe, even though in this case it didn't quite work. But typically you want to set C02 to 10 ticks. If you have the default calculator, it's probably set to 8 ticks. Okay, so you want to set it to 10. And the reason why is because the space between the entry and 8 ticks is too tight, and you'll end up stopping out at break even all the time and typically miss nice winning trades. So we give this a little more room where it has to go to target 1 as well as 10 ticks. I'm sorry, it has to go 90% to target 1 as well as 10 ticks before you move your stop. So in this case, it only went 9 ticks. Okay, just the irony of something not working after I just told you it's better. All right, so then it gets long, but you don't get long right at 83. You want to do your stop and reverse adjustment. And that takes a little getting used to, because the idea is you want to try to protect the trade you're in, but be willing to flip to the other side if needed. So you ask for a little extra price action confirmation to push a little further up. That's why you move your stop and reverse entry up 2 ticks plus or minus key level adjustments. So in this case, it would go from 83 to 85. 85 is a key level, so move it to 86. So 86 is where you stop and reverse. And these are things you have to kind of think through quickly in your head, but you get used to it. But then it gets long and plows through all the targets. And it takes practice doing this, obviously. Winning session, 2 trades. Counterpunch of 2 trades also. The first one, 1, 2 ticks. And the second one was a full target winner. So the first one got short on the white trade, and it came down ultimately to hit its target 1, which is also target 1 and 10 ticks. I use that same rule on counterpunch. But that target 1 was more than 10 ticks. Well, it was exactly 10 ticks. So once it hit target 1, the stop pushed down and locked in more than 1 tick because it was trailing the signal line that locked in 2 ticks and then stopped out. Then it had some setups that canceled, and then the one that finally did trigger in was the full winner. So a nice session all in all. Hopefully you guys did well. Does anyone have any questions? Because we're about finished here.